Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey, y'all. It's me, Tamara. Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to the show. I think I have a new recording rhythm. We will see. But I've really been just working on having a better schedule with this new job. It's really interesting when you go from, because I work at my church that I've been at for 10 years and there's many different ways that I served, and some of those things I still do. It's just now I'm getting paid to do it. So it's really been an interesting shift to go from volunteering somewhere to then being on staff and not feeling like I need to be a part of all the things just because I'm getting paid now. And that's kind of where I was for a little bit. But I was encouraged, conversation I had with one of my, it's weird to say boss because we don't really use that word, but for the sake of common language, I had a conversation with my boss and I was doing something and he was like, I mean, it's fine that you do that, but at the same time, and then just kind of from that conversation, I just started really looking at all the things I was stepping into. And so with that, I feel like I'll have a better recording rhythm. And I'm really loving this series where I'm giving y'all one nugget of what I either learned or am learning currently. And so today's word and the theme of this episode is flexibility. Now, y'all know, I like to look up the definitions of words to make sure that I fully understand what that means. So I like all three of these definitions of flexibility. So let's get into it. The ability to bend easily or without breaking. The quality of being easily adapted or of offering many different options. Last but not least, the ability and willingness to adjust one's thinking or behavior. Boy, let me tell you, it is so important and one of the, I can't even say one of the most important. So I'll just say a lesson that is really highlighted to me is the importance of being flexible, because I will have maybe a plan for my day. Definitely I have some sort of like framework for how I want to spend my week. And in the first season, so I think I explained at one point that our church / my job, because that's just, man, I'll get used to it at some point, but it's still, my mind isn't wrapped around it. But at work, okay, we'll just say that we do things in seasons, and the season is 3 months, and then there's like an off month. So the first season of 2024 was January, February, March. And what's interesting is because Easter was in March this year, it's like Easter ended season 1, which is actually kind of nice. It made March a time to be alive, let me tell you, because we do a lot of content and creative things at my church. And so, there was a lot going on in March, but the season ended. And so then April is the off month. So it's kind of cool because we don't have to do Easter in what is technically an off month. And so with that, one of the things that I'm not going to say it drove me crazy because that is so dramatic and unnecessary. But one of the things that I really struggled with in the beginning is sudden changes And it's not even just sudden changes. It's more so like this thing will come up out of nowhere that it's something extremely important, but it's something that I hadn't planned for in my work week or in my schedule of this is what I'm going to do this week, and constantly being thrown off and having things shifted around. And I actually struggled with that in the beginning because, as y'all know that have listened forever, I need rhythms. I need like some sort of structure. You know what I mean? Like, even though I'm late on episodes, there's a structure and then there's freedom within the structure. So the structure is that episodes are supposed to drop every Thursday. The freedom within that structure is I'll talk about whatever I want to talk about because it's my show, and my show is about my life and the ways I'm trying to grow. So, but there's still some sort of structure even with that. But having such a vague thing like my life and the ways I'm trying to grow gives me so much freedom, you know what I mean? Because there's so many things that could be applicable to my life. It could be just, I want to have fun, like when I did the karaoke battles. It could be, I want to talk about a show that I like when we did the Power recap and the U recap. And what's so wild is there is still an episode that I just have never edited that I really need to. And then we both just got so busy, so that just fell off, and who knows if we'll get back to it. But flexibility is so important, like in so many different ways, but in this season and in my life, it is so important to be flexible. Yes, have a plan for sure, like have a method or a strategy or whatever to do whatever, but at the same time, I've really learned the importance of holding things with open hands, mainly my plans, and being open to, okay, here's this unexpected thing that there's a need for it. Because like when you're in ministry, you just don't know what's going to happen. Prime example, the other day, there was a funeral at our church that our pastor was the officiant for. And so nowhere in my plan for the week on Monday was help set up and tear down for a funeral. However, that's what was needed. I'm so glad I've gotten to the point of just, okay, this is just how it's going to be. Like there are going to be these unexpected things that come up because it's ministry and it's people's lives, and that's never a cookie cutter thing. I'm so glad I'm already to that place. And I say that because the attitude that you have coming into situations like especially that and or anything that's unexpected when you're dealing with people, the spirit you bring into that, the vibes, whatever you want to say, can negatively affect people. And so before, when I wasn't at a place of just acceptance with this, like, okay, this is just a thing. I just have to be flexible. I have to accept that my plans are not my own, because at the end of the day, I'm doing what the Lord has called me to do. So it's really his plans and his agenda anyway, right? But before I got to that place, I would get frustrated. Now, what I would do with that frustration is on the drive to here to there or whatever, I'll blast some worship music or pray or whatever it is I feel like I need to do to get my heart and mind and spirit together. Because again, when you're coming into a situation where you are leading people, and this is applicable honestly at any job, truthfully. So let me just say that, like when you're leading people and you're dealing with people, you need to have your heart and mind correct. Like you are the thermostat for the atmosphere a lot of times. And if you are super negative or can't handle highly stressful environments, and I mean, to be honest, dealing with people is going to be stressful at times because you don't know what they're going to have going on in their life. I kind of was well equipped for what I'm doing by working in the social work field for so long, especially with the different populations of people that I worked with. So like for me, it's literally like, this is almost like social work too, except it's, focused on Jesus and stuff like that, instead of just practical needs, although practical needs are a part of it at times too, you know what I mean? But there's just such an emphasis on faith and all of that. Whereas I definitely shared my faith and worked at like faith-based places previously, but like this is people are coming here for that, and other things may come up where before it was flipped, where it was like people were coming wherever I worked or whatever capacity I worked with them. It was for other reasons. And then that was like sprinkled in, you know what I mean, as a part of it. And so with that, when you're leading people or when you're dealing with people, it's really interesting because a lot of times I may be going through stuff, but people are looking to me to lead them or be there for them or whatever. And so I need to have healthy stress stuff for myself already in place. Like I need to be coming into environments where I'm already good. Now, not be fake, you know what I mean? And this is where there have been times when I've gone through a lot of stuff, even in the last 6 months. And the first part of that, I wasn't even on staff yet. I was still just serving, but I don't want to say just serving, but you know what I mean. But with that, so many things have happened to where in those moments where my situation is not good, but I have to show up and do what I got to do, that's where I would just lean on the Lord. And, you know, like I said, from the drive from here to there, do what I got to do. But with that, flexibility is still such an important thing that I have really had to grow in this season, because again, I have my plans and sometimes it doesn't work out. And even with that, let's step aside from work. Even flexibility in what it looks like for me with my Snatch 40s journey. You feel me? Because sometimes there are days or weeks, I should say, where I can't go to the CrossFit gym on the times that I want to go. So then what? I'm just not going to work out? No, I have to keep my goal of the Snatch 40s, you feel me, in mind. And then with that, have backup plans or alternative solutions or methods or whatever that, okay, well, if I can't do this, then I'll do this instead. Because as long as I'm achieving the ultimate goal, which is getting in a workout, it doesn't necessarily matter how I do it. And sure, I love going to my CrossFit gym, and I typically try to go there at least 3 times a week, if not 4. But on the weeks where that can't happen, if I had to do something else, but I'm still burning calories, getting in a good sweat, raising my endorphins and all that, it's still a win, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, flexibility has been super helpful for me. And so I want to give a few tips on how you can grow in that. So number one, think about what I just said with working out. What is the goal, right? And so have your goal in mind, whatever that is. And with that, write down your action steps on how you want to achieve that goal. But I think in the planning phase of writing things down on how you want to achieve your goal, I think it's important to write down some alternative solutions, like have a plan B already in mind. Sure, plan A is definitely the goal, but like I just said, you don't always get to choose what happens. Things are going to come up, this, that, and the other. So like have already in your mind alternative solutions that you're okay with doing. That way you can be more proactive and still stay focused, where it's like, oh, I just got to pivot real quick, instead of not having anything in mind. And then it could be a delay that happens in your progress because you haven't planned for the unexpected. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be super detailed. But for me, going back to the working out thing, it's like, okay, I want to work out these days unless I'm like not feeling good or something like that. Okay, that's different. But otherwise, I want to work out these specific days. I usually want to work out like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because we have staff workout on Wednesdays, and then Friday. Like those are the days I like to work out. Saturday, sometimes, because I am kind of getting to a point where I kind of want to do 5 workouts a week, but for sure the other 4 days, right? Those are the days I want to work out. And so, like I said, if our schedule is not going to allow for me to go to any of the CrossFit classes, okay, well then I have 2 alternatives. One, I have this other gym that I go to, and all I do is just get on the treadmill, throw on my AirPods, and just walk or alternate walking and jogging or whatever. So that's one. Or I throw on my AirPods, and this is when I'm really pressed for time, and I'll just do, it's so funny because I've done hip hop abs and like turbo fire so many times over the years. And so I'll just make up my own little routines of just dancing to music because it's still, I'm, doing cardio, and I feel okay about just doing cardio when I do my alternative workout methods because we focus on strength at CrossFit. And I'm not going to say that I feel like my form is always whatever, or like I always know what I'm doing to where I'm about to go by myself to the gym and just do whatever. Maybe if I was going with somebody else, but that's typically not how that goes. So with that, I already have my plan in mind of this is the goal. The goal is working out. I already have my plan in mind, my plan A of I want to go to this gym on these days, preferably this specific class. But then when that doesn't work out, I already have a backup plan in mind. So that's one important factor of flexibility. The other piece is hold everything kind of with open hands, like have ownership for sure. But when unexpected things happen in your schedule, really, and if you're a person of faith, this is for sure what you need to do. Really ask the Lord, okay, what are you inviting me into? Because inconveniences are not always an inconvenience. A lot of times it's a blessing in disguise because you don't know what you're being protected from. You don't know what blessings you're going to get as a result of that. I still go back to when the KB concert happened at our church. We hosted it as a venue, so we weren't like putting it on. I ended up being a runner. So like I said, took people to the gym, Walmart, ran to Lowe's. It was literally just running people around or going to the store to get whatever, right? That was so unexpected. That was not in my plans for the day. And with that, though, it was such a dope experience. I also got to go to the concert for free, but I also was gifted an Amazon gift card, because of that. And so it really is just holding things with open hands and being open to, okay, what are you inviting me into with this unexpected opportunity? But then also just being at peace with, you know what? Things are going to happen that I have no control over, but I'm not going to let it just upset me to the point where I have a bad attitude, and then maybe that bad attitude affects somebody else. So then it's also really just doing whatever it is that you need to do to maintain your peace. For me, particularly, sometimes I got to pray. Sometimes I got to blast. Literally, I remember one day I was driving from our studio to the church because those are 2 separate buildings and it's about a 20-minute drive apart. And I remember the whole way there blasting worship music loud. I don't usually blast music like that when I'm driving, and singing at the top of my lungs until I felt all of that stress leave me, because I knew that when I got to my destination, I needed to have the right mind and attitude and heart going into this situation. And so it's that too. It's really doing what you got to do to keep your peace, because it's like you don't always get to control what happens. But flexibility, let's go back to the first definition. The ability to bend easily or without breaking. That's the thing. When you are flexible, situations will not break you. So that's why it's important to have flexibility. So that is all I have for y'all this week. As always, though, make sure you are doing what you need to do to take care of yourself mentally, make sure you are doing what you need to do to take care of yourself emotionally and spiritually, physically as well, so that if you're taking care of yourself in all these ways, it makes it honestly just a little bit easier to be healthier in your relationships, because if you're good to yourself, you're going to want to be good to other people. You're going to want other people to be good to you. So you're not going to accept all this stuff. But then I also feel like when you're mentally and emotionally healthy, then you're going to make sure that you are doing what you need to do to not be toxic with people, right? So that is all I have for y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you so much, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for